Hello, welcome back to my channel, Inflightmuzik. My name is Ian, and if you're new here and you're looking for FL Studio and general music production tips and tricks, definitely do yourself a favor and hit that subscribe button with that notification bell so that you are notified every time I drop a new video. Typically, I drop a new video every Monday, Wednesday, Friday around 10 a.m. Eastern Time, but today I decided to do a video on a Sunday because this one's a little different from my normal tutorials. What I'm doing today is a plugin review. This plugin was made by Sikky Beats. Some of you might know who he is. He's a fellow FL Studio YouTuber. He makes some pretty good tutorials, so I'll definitely leave a link down below to his YouTube page. And I'll also leave a link down below for this plugin. It's right under 10 bucks, but keep in mind that this is only an effect plugin that can be used inside of FL Studio because it's utilizing Patcher. And if you don't know what Patcher is an effect plugin where you can chain multiple effects inside of it. The way that you actually install this plugin, it's pretty easy. You'll get a file that you just drop into your Patcher presets folder, and it will be right here in the effect version of Patcher. So now let's actually dig into this plugin. So what these knobs and sliders are, this is the main knob right here. You have clean, fat, grit, dirty. The more you increase that, the more saturation you're going to get, the more harmonics you're going to get in your sound. What he recommends is using this in slider to drive the signal more or less into this knob. Any of these settings really change depending on how much of this input you're driving into this knob. And that's pretty typical with any plugin that does saturation. The more you drive it into the signal, the more saturation you're going to get. Now up top, we have three knobs that are basically filters. This starve knob is a high pass filter before it hits Energizer. This tight knob is a high pass filter after it hits Energizer. And this dark knob is a low pass filter after it hits Energizer. But from the nature of this plugin, I'm really predicting that this is going to sound best on the bass track. One thing that I'm noticing is trying to get the signal that I'm looking for, I'm always increasing the volume here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to compare an increase in volume to the original signal. So I put Fruity Payne-O-Matic here, and we're just going to level match whatever I end up with in Patcher. I feel like that's a better way to work because I turned off all of my mastering settings, so the signal is kind of low. So this should give us a better idea here. And for bass, I do like to cut out some of the low end just to tighten things up. I figure it's better to do that after the saturation when it comes to bass. That way we get as much of the signal going into the saturation, and that creates even more harmonics versus doing it before. Not really hearing much of a difference with the dark knob. Maybe a slight difference. I'll leave it right there. Let's just listen to what Destroy sounds like on this bass. I have a feeling we'll have to turn this down quite a bit. That sounds great right there. So let's go ahead and level match with Fruity Payne-O-Matic. So we're hitting right about -9. Let's try and get that same level. I had to add 3 Fruity Payne-O-Matics to get the volume up. And here's with it. Yeah, so at the same level, it definitely adds some grit, some edge to your basses. I think this works really well on a synth bass. That's definitely going to cut through the mix a lot better. I was going to test this on my instrument loop, but I already know that this probably isn't going to work as well as it did on the bass. But let's go ahead and just test it out anyway. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add Energizer at the end of this chain. I feel like all I'm really doing is just making it louder with a little bit more saturation, a little bit more warmth. Yeah, just a slight warmth to the sound. Nothing dramatic compared to the synth bass. So I would say so far, I would definitely recommend this plugin specifically for your basses, 808s, synth basses, subs, stuff like that. Let's go ahead and try this on the drum bus. A quick way to bring an effect onto another channel is click in the effect, go here, save preset as, drag that onto wherever you want to send it. I'm going to turn this limiter off actually, and let's just listen to what Energizer does to our drum bus. So it gets louder, so let's not fool our ears here. Let's go ahead and bring in another Panomatic, get this up to -6. So I've just adjusted all these settings. Let's go ahead and listen to the difference between just raising the volume and using Energizer. So this works awesome on drums, guys. So again, this is without it. Hitting around -6, and then with it, hitting the same level, but it's hitting much, much harder. And again, it's a matter of taste. Maybe you don't want that much going on. Let's turn this down. Even with less of the Energizer setting, it's still warming up the signal. I would say so far this works best on a drum bus and your bass. The main features that I'm using most often are this tight knob, obviously the main Energizer knob, and the input and output, just to level match and use more or less of this main effect. Let's go ahead and add this on the mastered just to see what ends up happening here. I'm just gonna drag this on over to my mix bus where I don't have any effects, and you'll see that all my mastering chain is turned off. So I'm gonna turn Energizer off here, turn my original plugins back on, and let's just listen to what Energizer does on my overall mix. All right, so I have the mix hitting right around -3. Let's go ahead and level match that with Panomatic. Just a subtle difference. I feel like pushing this too much might be overbearing on the mix, but let's go ahead and switch this up a little bit. All right, I think I got the settings to where I really want them for the overall mix. So this is before. Hitting right under -3. And you'll notice when I switch over to Energizer, the signal becomes a lot more consistent and just a lot more powerful. Here we go. And then if that sounds like a little too much saturation, you can always just decrease the input or the Energizer knob itself. Compare that. So yeah, overall, I would say that Energizer definitely has its place in the mix if you're looking to thicken up some bass lines, or to thicken up your drum bus, or to just bring a little bit more life to the overall mix. I think this actually does work out pretty well. But for individual instruments or individual drum hits, I feel like it could work, but I'm finding a lot more success on the buses, the overall mix, and the bass. So yeah, this plugin is only 10 bucks. Again, it only works in FL Studio as a patcher effect. I'm probably going to be sticking more with using this on my drum bus and probably on my basses as well. Let me know down in the comments below if you have any questions, tips, concerns, and like the video if you want more plugin reviews, and I'll be sure to drop those here in the near future. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.